Stephen Woolfe, thank you so much for speaking to Westmonster. Now, you have recently joined the Conservative Party just yesterday. Now, you were a UKIP MEP, you were even a Tory councillor, and then you became an independent, and now you're back in the Tories. Why have you joined again?
Well, I've joined because I've also become president of the Blue Wave movement, and for me, I'm, like so many people, campaign for Brexit. We want the Brexit that means we're taking control of our borders, our laws, making sure that ECJ is not in control of us, and that we've got free trade deals that we can do to make us prosperous in the future. But the Chequers deal is not acceptable because it ties us in. So the idea behind the Blue Wave movement is that we give support to those who want to have a proper Brexit and to ensure that we don't get forced down the line of having some form of third referendum that so many people, including those within the Conservative Party like Sarah Wollaston and Anna Soubry, who seem very supportive of that idea. By joining the Conservative Party and being part of the Blue Wave movement, we're going to try to encourage people to make the Conservative Party conservative again and ensure they listen to the will of the people.
Aren't you just being an opportunist in joining the Tory party now? Because you obviously left a few years ago. You could have stayed and tried to persuade them then, but you didn't. You just left and went to UKIP. Why are you joining now and you didn't stay so many years ago?
Like so many of us, we were members of the Conservative Party. We believe in a very strong government, low taxation, small government that encourages business. We look after individual responsibility. Looking after the family is important now, armed services and stronger law and order. And the Conservative Party still had some of them, but on the key issue of Europe, they were very much a Remainer party, from Heath to Major to Cameron and their acolytes, and it didn't seem to me that we'd ever get our referendum if we remained in the Conservative Party, and that's why UKIP was a very important political party to join and force that through.
But now it's irrelevant.
Well, I think UKIP has lost some of its relevance in relation to the European Union. It's not very strong in being able to campaign against the Conservative Party, and even whilst Labour is actually also weakened and not very strong on there, they've gone down some of their own hobby horses. Now, they still have some good people and they still have some good policies, but I think it's important to recognise that this government is the Conservative government, and only the Conservative governments are either going to deliver the Brexit we want or we're not. And that is why we need to be involved in it right now. And there's one other important point. I argued that once we left the European Union, our own government, our own parliament and our own politicians are going to be essential to drive forward the changes that we want, that people desire. No more chasing of our servicemen through the courts. No more looking after families like Alfie Evans should they not have a law that protects them when they want to take their children abroad to seek treatment. No more are we going to allow jihadists to come back into here. And only by making our politicians concerned about that and having those advocating those policies as positive for Britain can you achieve anything. And that's why I think it's important to be here now.
Now, your former leader, Nigel Farage, disagrees with you. He says, do not join the Conservative Party. Why do you disagree with your former leader? Surely he's right on this. Don't join the Tories. They've been useless for the last 40 years on Brexit and all these other issues.
Look, I have a huge amount of respect for Nigel, always have done, and sometimes we've disagreed on things, but we've agreed on a lot of things. I just think that on this particular strategy and a particular way that you've got to look at where we are now, we have a very clear differential view. My view is that you've got to act now. We've only got 6 months to go, and politicians respond by pressure. They hate the idea that they can lose their jobs, and they hate the idea in many ways that ordinary citizens can try and persuade them of the way forward. And I think in the Conservative Party there are a lot of strong individuals who believe in their members and believe in conservatism, and they would garner a huge amount of support from seeing people come back into the fold and say, yeah, we're backing you, we're working with you. I think with Nigel, he's got a very different strategy, and there's a different character and individual that can look at other policy areas. He will be very important in driving the message forward to Brexit, but I want to make sure that those in the Conservative Party that support the 17.4 million people also have people that back them too. There are a huge number of people that believe that over the past 40 years, it's been indoctrinated by the philosophy of the Europhile European Union ideals, which have made them more like a social democratic party or even a liberal democratic party. And that's what's driven a lot of their policies, which has been over-regulation. The idea is that, you know, you can increase taxation and not have the benefits of it. And whereas there are those like myself who feel that by reducing regulation, by ensuring that you encourage business, you get jobs, people work. When people work, they can pay for their bills. When they pay for the bills, they can look after their families, they can go on holidays. The simple things in life that most of us want. And that's been forgotten by huge swathes of the Conservative Party, and the traditional support for our military, for law and order, for the family, and for our own self-respect, and more importantly, our own nation. Now that hasn't gone, but I just think that there are more people out there who've been voting for Brexit, voting for other parties, feel this more, and now they're seeing an opportunity post-Brexit to actually drive forward a very positive and different Britain.
Are you not just the right-wing momentum, where you're an entryist? This is what Anna Soubry says. You're a very, very dangerous person trying to get these very extreme people to join the Conservative Party and take it over.
Oh yeah, I've been called extremist and very dangerous on many occasions. You only have to look at the Twitter feed this morning. I'm the most dangerous person that currently exists in UK politics. I think those who link us to being some sort of extremist momentum are really not understanding the zeitgeist of the British population. They didn't understand what drove people to vote for Brexit. They don't understand why they see our country can have a very positive future. I think they've been very locked in their own bubbles, and I understand that when it's all essentially around here in Westminster. But when those politicians go out into the public and see what's happening, they realise that there is a real desire for fundamental change in our country, to go back to a very positive party in the Conservative Party that respects all those key points I mentioned: the family, the flag, our own armed forces, our law and order. And when they get to understand that these crucial issues matter to people, then I realise that it's not extremist, but it's actually really the way forward.
Are you more of a Conservative than Anna Soubry and Sarah Wollaston?
Well, you know, I think they might want to debate me on this, but there are lots of people who say that I am. I think probably, in my own personal view, I am probably more of a traditional Conservative than a social democratic Conservative or a liberal democratic Conservative. I've got very strong views, held them for a long time, and I believe in my nation, I believe in my people. I love my country. I think it's one of the most fantastic places in the world. Where else could you have someone who's born on an estate in Manchester, to a mixed race family, be able to rise to become a barrister, work in the city, become a politician, be able to discuss things sensibly with people across the world? I've been in countries across the globe where that opportunity isn't there for people, and it has been restricted. So I've got to look at this nation and think how wonderful it actually is. But do we have problems? Of course we do. Do we have things that we've got to solve? Yes. And if we don't look at the different ways of dealing with that, we're just going to get more and more moribund, and that is one reason why I believe that proper conservatism, as I say, traditional conservatism, not a social democratic Merkel-esque Macron-style conservatism, is the way forward for this country.
So should Anna Soubry and those sort of social democratic MPs, as you call them, leave the party?
Well, that's a matter for them, but I think really what they should do is everybody should reflect on one of the big decisions that was made by the votes in 2016. I think they should look at where their members in their own political party have been supporting for years, and then they've got to ask themselves, you know, do their own personal values or views match that of the Conservative Party or true Conservative values? I mean, I look at the Bow Group, who have kindly offered me to become a senior patron. They're the oldest and most traditional Conservative think tank in the United Kingdom, and I think they embody a huge amount of proper Conservative values. Of course, every political party has a broad church, and you've got to accept those different views. That's what makes it exciting. But if at the end of the day you don't feel that you are a Conservative, but you are more aligned to other political parties, that's a choice for yourself. You can see that in the Labour Party. How many of them now really are showing themselves to be kind of Blairite liberals that are connected more to the Liberal Democrats? Perhaps there is a need for a new political party, and all of them can join together and be happy clappy once more.
Stephen Woolfe, thank you so much for speaking to Westmonster.
All right, great, thank you.